All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. Great to have you here today. All right, so the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for me to analyze any stocks or ETFs for entries, exits, whether you should be long, whether you should be short. Maybe you got a call from your broker and he's suggesting a particular stock based on fundamentals, but you want to take a look at it from my technical standpoint. So that's the purpose. I've been doing this now for over 30 years with TradersCoach.com. We have software, and I'll show you that in just a little bit, on analyzing the markets, and very strict methodology on both day trading and position trading. All right, so let me get going. In the comments area, one last comment. In the comments area is where you would type in a symbol for me to look up, and make sure that symbol is all caps and no more than 3 at a time. That way we give everybody a chance. We're going to be here for about a half an hour today. All right, so we'll move it right along. All right, so let me just go through some administrational items and get that taken care of. First thing I have to go over, of course, are the risks involved in trading the financial markets. I think we all realize there is risk. There's no guarantees in trading. We're speculators when we do this. And you have to realize that past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. And also to check with your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure any analysis I do or recommendations I do are suitable for your style of trading or investing. I don't know your personal situation. They certainly can and advise you properly. Also know how to do risk control on each and every trade. That's really important as well. I've got a couple books out on that. I'll show you real quick in just a moment. And yeah, you can start typing in your symbols at any time, okay? You don't have to wait until we get started. All right, so I also like to do a little plug here for Apex Trading. It's a prop firm. I do a lot of day trading and use Apex for that. It's a great way to make money, okay, but you have to be good at it. All right, again, there's no guarantees at it, but they have a pretty good system down. They're one of the oldest ones in the business, and I'll put a link up here in my chat area because I can help you save some money here. So let me get you that up there, and I'll put that also in the description below this recording when I post it later on. So basically what they do is they give you the chance to become a day trader. It's not for position trading, and it's for futures only. And they do give you data, which is nice, okay? And also, too, they give you an evaluation practice account, and you have to prove yourself. You have to, basically pass that before you get funded. And when you get funded, that gives you a chance to earn 90% of any profits you make. And there are certain rules and regulations that they have. But you can see a lot of people are getting paid out. This is actually an old screenshot. It's even more now. And of course, now we're entering a new year too. But I think I've had no problems with them. And I just recommend them if you're interested in doing that kind of trading. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is books here. I've got several books. I'm going to cut my cam on for just a moment and let you see my latest book here. All right, so that's my Art of Trading book. All right, it's pretty thick, 600, I think it came out to about 608 pages. So it's a big book and it's brand new, just came out, just being shipped really for the first time in the last couple of weeks. So when I say brand new, I mean brand new. Pick up a copy. I'll put a link below in my setup there where you can check that out. But I also recommend my books on money management as well. So let me go back to the screen here. And so I've got a couple books on money management. So if you're kind of want to learn more about that or you're having a tough time with that, those are great places to go for that. I've got Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified. All right, that's all about the Elliott Wave, and we use that on various time frames. And then the Survival Guide for Traders is a book on basically how to run your business right from your home, your trading business, that is. So you can basically run it like a hedge fund, okay? So you can check out all that. All right, so let me keep going here. I'm almost done, and we'll jump in with the charts. This is our software that I use. I have a variety of different indicators, so to speak. I have the art trading software, which looks at price patterns in real time. So whether you're trading a short time frame or a long time frame, it works just fine. Then I have the OWL, PTF, TLM, and ERI indicators at the bottom of the chart. Those are awesome and help to confirm signals generated by the ART system. The center row, this row right in here, is all our scanners. So if you're a stock trader and you're kind of scanning or sorting through, 10,000 stocks and you want to find that needle in the haystack based on your style of trading, that's what the purpose of the scanners are. And then at the bottom, you cannot trade without risk control. All right. So that's our risk control suite of software and record keeping as well. So there you have it. All right. And then finally, give us a like. Okay. Subscribe and share. And I believe that's the end of the screens. All right. So I'm going to start out until we get set up here with your picks coming in. I'm going to just start out with Bitcoin because everybody wants to know about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's kind of, we're bullish on Bitcoin. All right. We don't think we have it high on Bitcoin yet. I think I want to open up for starters. I'm going to open up this chart in the center to full screen. Before I do, just a real quick run over of what you're looking at here. So we got the 60-minute chart over here. And this is not for day trading right now. This is for position trading. We have the daily chart here, which is an intermediate look. And we have a weekly chart over here, which is our long-term look. Now, what I want you to notice is that the same symbol is on all three charts. So this is a form of multi-time frame analysis. And I have a lot of courses on that if you're interested in how to set that up and trade with it. But the idea is it gives us a good snapshot of what's going on the different time frames of a particular symbol. So that's kind of the way we run it. And then I have our indicators under here. This is what we call the OWL, which measures momentum. PTF, which indicates are there more highs or lows coming with a probability of 75%. And then we have under here the TLM and the ERI indicator. So the ERI measures fear and greed in the market. The TLM is a trend line, automatic trend line drawer. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. These little red lines here is a piece of software that I use for liquidity to see where the liquidity is. And then I've manually drawn in here some areas where there are fair value gaps. So we look at those types of things as well. All right, so I'm going to open up this chart in the center and start here. This is Bitcoin, and what's interesting about Bitcoin is, this is a wave 3 for those Elliott wave folks. This is a wave 4 target zone between these two blue lines here. And normally what happens is we come down here, complete wave 4, which is a retracement. It's a profit-taking retracement. And then from there, it surges and makes a new high. And there are 5 waves in the trend, according to Elliott wave. So at the end of the 5th wave, the trend ends. So right now, we have probably one more leg up, and we may be getting it now. But I want to point out a couple things here. We're sitting at about 104,000 on Bitcoin. My target is about 120 to 140, possibly if it gets extended, 150,000. And then I think, if you're not a buy and holder forever, so to speak, but you are trading this and don't want to get stuck in the next big move down, you want to get out the next time Bitcoin starts reaching anywhere from 120 to 150. If you're in our more service, you have nothing to worry about because I'm watching that for you. All right, so let me just go over this really quickly here. This is a fair value gap, and it's a bearish one. All right, now fair value gaps are areas where you have basically a gap in price movement in one direction, either bullish or bearish. This is a bearish one. And so we have retraced up to the fair value gap. If we keep going, then this fair value gap becomes support, just like a regular support area, and it will bounce off and could go something like that. If we get a turnaround, a rejection, they call it here, then that means we're probably heading down, and the next liquidity level is down here. So there's a very big chance we could take that out, even go into the retracement target zone and go back up at that point. So we're kind of at a critical place for Bitcoin. It's either going to surge from here or it's going to pull back and take out that liquidity. We did not yet reach the wave 4 target zone. So I'm kind of a little suspect here on what's going to happen. Also, too, 70% of the time, these retracements hit these pullback. This is a fib pullback area. So it's not something, super unique. It is very common in technical analysis. So this is a normal Fibonacci retracement pullback anchored on wave 2 and 3 on the Elliott wave count here. So that's where most of them in. Now, 15% of the time they're shallow. And when they're shallow, it's because it's extreme bullishness in the trend. And it just, the bulls wouldn't allow it to go any deeper than it did. Now, with that said, we also had a really bullish price bar here. I'm going to open that up. You probably can't see that there at home, but I'll open that up. But that is a bullish, very bullish price bar right at that area here where the market went down and then turned around. So that usually is what we see at a bottom, but it did not go into the target zone. And now we're in a fair value gap. We've had a lot of bullish bars after that. So now we're going to see what's going to happen. Either the fair value gap will turn into support or resistance. And the bottom line here is if we go back into the target zone, I would consider this a buy zone, not a sell zone. All right. So this is an area, if we get a break and it comes back down, we can accumulate more because, again, the next trend should be up, the next wave up. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin. I'm going to share one more for you. But in any case here, we have one of my indicators here in the long-term weekly chart. You can see is green, 75% probability on that, indicating eventually more highs. What it doesn't tell you, what this indicator does not tell you, is how deep a correction will be before it returns and makes a high. And again, this is a fairly bullish price bar on the weekly chart too. So we could just keep going right to the upside here, but I want to see how it reacts to that fair value gap. All right, the next one I'm going to take a look at real quick here is UNG. This is the ETF for natural gas. Now, if you're in the Moore report, you've got a head start here because you're already in it. So we do have people already in this, just fair disclosure, okay? But this is a situation where I do think it's going higher, all right? Definitely check with your financial advisor to see if something like this is suitable for you. UNG is the ETF for natural gas, and we had a nice little bottoming sequence here. We've got some green PTFs here, and we finally went green on the weekly chart over here. So that's kind of a confirmation that this thing now has the potential to move up. Our short-term target here is going to be right above here, so it's pretty close. So if you're looking for a short-term target, we're thinking maybe right around, 22. Okay, so we're pretty close to that. The longer-term target is 45. So we've got some definite situations with that. All right, now, Frank's saying, yeah, we covered this yesterday, Frank, UVIX. All right, it's 10-for-1 stock split. Repercussions on options. I think we covered that yesterday too. But the bottom line on that is you have to see what the current options is on that because it's on a 10-to-1 stock split. You have a gap up on a chart and then you'll have a new option series. And usually they adjust the option. So you're going to have to check with your broker or whoever you deal with on that. But yeah, that should not be that big a deal. You should be all set with that anyway. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else coming in here? Going once, going twice. All right, Frank, HRMY. Let's take a look at that. HRMY. All right. So let me also know when you type in a stock, let me know if you're long, short, or considering a long or considering a short, because that way I can tailor the analysis specifically to you. All right, let's open this up. Let's take a look quickly. We don't have a lot of history on this. It only goes back to 2021. Really difficult to get a long-term Elliott wave count on this. We do have a red PTF on the weekly chart. We've got on the daily chart kind of a congestion area. All right, notice this little area here. Looks like we had a breakout that failed here. Okay, went back down and now is going sideways. And now it seems like we're getting another type of breakout. PTF is indicating that we should take this out. All right, but we could take it out in reverse right away, especially with the red PTF here. So this is not one I think I would recommend at this time. I'd like to see a little more follow through. I think we could also notice the 60-minute chart on the right, very bullish. So we'll probably get a little pullback and then have a better idea on the next surge forward if this thing's going to have legs. You know, 80% of the breakouts from a channel fail. And that's the time to scalp. All right. So if you're in the beginning of a channel and it's starting, breakouts are failing, you can keep scalping until the breakout actually has legs on it. Then, of course, you cover immediately and turn into a trend trader at that point. But the bottom line here is that it's not my favorite. I think there's other things we can find today that would be better than this. But thank you for that. And feel free to type in another one. All right, Stuart, how are you? All right, you are long RMD. Let's take a look at that. I think there's a medical stock, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so we looked at this before, okay, and we've got a target up here. I'm going to open up this weekly chart for just a moment. So you see, this is the kind of chart you want to see. You want to see something that's clear. So Frank, on something like this RMD, you can actually see the wave count. So see here, you got 3. All right, you have 4, and we did fib retracements, and this ended in there, and now you got 5. So the target on this is 310 to 421, and there's probably options on this as well. Now, I would have preferred you getting in back in here, all right, versus here, because we don't have that much room now, unless it goes to the higher part of the target zone. So hopefully, Stuart, I think you're already in this one, but this was a great breakout from a wave 4. And actually, probably it pulled back a little bit here. Looks like, let's see what's going on here on the 60-minute chart. Yeah, not too bad. Green PTF there. So I think probably it's heading on up. So if you went long here, you want to put your stop at the bottom of the low in that fib area. So your risk to reward is quite good to the longer term target zone of 310. Okay. So this is one I could recommend here. I'd like to see that owl go green here and a little more follow through, but you do have 2 green pyramids and a green owl on the 60-minute. So I'm going to recommend that one. Okay. Let's take a look at LNG. LNG. All right. So LNG, you're already long on this one, I see. Too late to go in now for everybody else. All right. It's just already broken away. And this is one where if we open up this weekly chart here, all right, kind of came down to this little fib area, just kissed it, all right, and then moved up. But now we have a new wave 3. So this is actually a wave 3. This is a minor 4 and a 3. And it's just too late to get in, okay? You're going to get a pullback. And if it ended today, we'll have to redraw this. So let me do that right now. And actually, this will go down here. Okay, so that's your pullback target, 169 to 116. So you might want to keep those stops fairly close on that, okay? Looks like we're going to go higher, okay? That is what the market is showing. So wave 3, I don't think is over. We'll probably have to redraw those retracement lines. Still moving up, but it's close, okay? I think it's kind of close. On this chart here, for example, on the daily chart, the other chart I showed you was the weekly. Let me just get rid of that fib area back there. All right, so this is showing red here. You have to have a red for a major wave 4, okay? So this was a 3, 4, and this will be a 5. And when this 5 ends here, that'll be the end of wave 3 on the weekly chart on the far right, which we're still in wave 3 because there's waves inside waves. So LNG, stay with it. Keep your stop tight. I'd use a 60-minute chart for that. All right, you can put it right at that pyramid at the bottom of the 60-minute chart, which is part of the ART software. And so that'd be at 244.50. That way you'll stay in a little longer until you get a pullback. But when you get the pullback, you'll still lock in profits. And then you should get a pretty big move down into a wave 4 target zone. Okay, so that's LNG. So that's where that is going. All right. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Stu. That was pretty detailed that I gave you on that. So I think you're in pretty good shape on that. All right, Janice, how are you? All right, good. Good job, Janice. Let me know if you're long or short or whatever. Okay, Oracle. The Oracle. Oops, sorry. That's the wrong symbol. O-R-C-L. No E. All right, let's load that baby up and see what's going on with that. All right. So your medium, I'm not sure I know what medium means, but I'm going to say you're thinking about it, maybe. Okay, so basically, let's open up that weekly chart. Okay, pretty easy to find wave 3s, aren't they? Okay, and this is what you want to do. If you have to kind of scratch your head too much to figure out where wave 3 is or what the wave count is, then probably you should move on because it's probably a messy chart. This is pretty clear. Wave 3 here. All right. We're having a pullback in the owl here. Now, a couple things. Sometimes the owl does not go straight down and goes red. Sometimes it bulbs up. You know, like a bulb on a big ship in the front to break the water. It kind of does that. All right. And then you get one more high and then it goes into a correction. So that's always a possibility. Let's see what the lower time frames are showing us. Okay, so we still got some red here, okay, and red here. So you definitely don't want to go long, okay? Wait for this to pull back. Now, after it pulls back, all right, it's going to make higher highs. I can't say definitively you're going into a major weekly wave 4 yet. It may just be the end of a wave 5 on, and that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. Wave 5 on the daily chart. All right. So I don't think this is going to be as deep as it could be if it was a long-term correction. Let me just artificially draw in some things here. I just want to see if I'm hitting the right spots. All right. 1, 2. So the wave 4 anchor would be on a weekly chart would be back here. For the daily, we'll put it here. So I'm thinking probably we'll come down to 144 down to 111. That's the range of this pullback. We'll call it wave 4, and we'll call it a profit taking pullback. We have a red PTF. So after this, then it should go higher. So I'll let you decide on whether you want to keep it, get out, and then re-enter later. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, I'm not going to put it on the list because it's still coming back down. All right, Sue, let's take a look at WYL. Give that a second. Maybe, hopefully I typed that in correctly. Is that the right symbol? Let me know if that's maybe it's not, I don't think it's loading. Okay, it's probably a wrong symbol. So just make sure, maybe you might have typed it in wrong. FIVN is the next one. FIVN. Okay, so long. All right. Well, if you're thinking about a long, don't do it yet. Okay, it's not quite ready. We may have a bottom in on this. It's starting to show signs of a bottom. We still got some liquidity levels down below here. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. You're still heading down. So if you look at this chart, downtrend. If you look at this chart kind of sideways, and if you look at this chart here, no indication yet that the trend is down. So you don't want to go long here yet, okay? So you kind of want to kind of time this so you don't catch a falling knife. Let me just open this up here a little bit so we can see this. So this is kind of a good sign here. There's no red PTFs, all right? So that's pretty good. I'd like to see it have some more follow through. So we're in a pullback And basically, let's see when this pullback ends. So that this is the bottom. It's not unusual to get a large pullback after its initial surge up. So we're kind of waiting to see what happens and how deep this pullback is. And then if we see something like this, then that might be a great buy point at that point. Okay, so just be patient. Let's put this one on a watch list. How's that? Because this one is not quite ready, but it could be a decent trade because when you get in, you'll be getting in near the bottom. Okay, thanks, Janice. All right, let's keep going here. All right, let's see. Frank, how are you again? All right, silver. Oh, goody, silver. All right, so silver has been an interesting animal. It had a pennant and it broke out of the pennant. Same thing with USO, by the way, but that did it a while ago. Okay, so here was the pennant last time. Okay, that type of thing. So it broke out, went right to its target, didn't quite hit it perfectly. Of course, markets never do things perfectly usually, but they do follow patterns. All right, then it pulled back, but we still have a green PTF here and a green PTF here, none here. So it looks to me like we'll probably, I think, go back into the target here. So being bullish on silver right now is okay. We have green PTFs here and a green owl and a trend up. All right. Here we have a pyramid, almost green. So we may see a little bit of a pullback here and then a surge forward. So I think silver's okay. I'm going to put that on the buy list because now it's pulled back enough that the risk to reward to the target makes sense. So if you got in here, stop goes under here. Now you have a 2-to-1 to the target, right? So that's okay. All right. So that's looking pretty good. So that's a good one, Frank. Okay. Silver. All right. Let's see what Gene has to say here. Give us a like. All right. Thank you, Gene. All right. Stuart, how are you? All right. My pleasure. Hopefully that helps, Stuart. Okay. All right. Frank is back with CHX for a possible short position. Let's take a look. Possible short position. All right. So I get your thinking. All right. We have red PTF here. But with that said, we have a green PTF here and just turning green here. So no short. Okay. This is a pretty powerful bar. All right. So you kind of want to, I mean, usually what happens on big bars like that, you'll get a slight retracement on the bar itself. Even if it's the next bar, you might see something like this and then go forward. But I want to see the next bar because if it forms up here, then you're going to have a fair value gap here that's bullish. And if that's the case, this could be a beginning of a big trend up. So don't go short on that. All right. Janice is saying XYL. No worries there. XYL. Okay. And Gene's right. Silver is a winner. Okay. So let's take a look at XYL here. I'm going to open it up on the long-term chart. All right. So pretty wild swings here and there. All right. We got a green PTF. Pretty tough to get. We don't have a lot of history on this, but it's pretty tough to get a really good Elliott wave count on this because this move up here was then surpassed by another move with a higher owl. So that's not wave 3. Okay. This whole run up could be wave 3. But it's a very volatile wave 3, so you're going to have to time these swings in order to do well and not get stopped out. Let's go to the lower time frames here and see if we have a better view of what's going on here. Let's focus not so much back there, but right here. Okay, so you got some equity levels here, or liquidity levels, I should say. So usually these get run because there's a lot of stops under here and also orders to go short. So this is called a trap, a liquidity trap. So normally what happens is they take that out and then it takes off in the opposite direction and everybody gets stopped out, annoyed, and once again the professional traders make money. All right, so you want to be a professional trader, right? So we keep an eye on this. I'm a little suspect on this right now. This is the daily chart. So I'd like to see some things get broken here and with some follow through. So if we just take a line here and draw a kind of a short-term trend line, I'd like to see that get broken. Could we have a bottom in here? Perhaps, okay. Certainly no more red PTF, but I'm a little suspect with all that liquidity sitting underneath. Okay, let's take a look at the chart here. That's bullish here. So what I would do is let's wait. Okay, let me just see if there's any fair value gaps on this chart here. Yeah, we might have one right here. Actually, we have two. Okay, so here's what I would do, and you might have one forming here. Okay, so here's what I would do. Let's wait for the next pullback. If the pullback stops in one of these fair value gaps, like here, and reverses, that's a buy. Okay, that means this is a beginning of a new trend. So let's wait and see what happens with that. You got to wait for a pullback off this bottom to see what the deal is going to be. So let's put this on a watch list, and we won't miss it. I mean, if it's going to be a good trend up, we'll just catch it on the next pullback and resurge. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. That was good. All right. FLSR. FLSR. Let's see what we got cooking there. Give that a second to load. Did I type it in wrong? FLSR. Stuart, it's not showing. Check the symbol, okay? I think I typed that in right. Right? FSL, yeah. All right, give that a check. Anybody else? I got a couple minutes here left. Oh, let's take a look at TLT real quick, okay? TLT is the ETF for bonds. And, we've had a red PTF, which kept us going long on this move up off the bottom here. Yeah, you could have made some money here, but the longer term outlook is that we're going to make new lows on bonds. So I'd stay out of bonds for an investment right now. Okay. I would stay out of bonds for an investment. But you know what? It's going to get close. It's probably one more bottom, and then we'll take a look at it, because TLT eventually will be a good buy, but we just got to hold off on that a little bit. Okay. All right, Stuart's back. He's got two more here. Okay, there you go. FSLR. Okay. There you go. Okay. I kind of thought it might have been that one. All right, kind of interesting here. Okay, so we'll open this bad boy up. All right, so again, not the cleanest of charts, is it? All right, but if you draw a trend line, you can kind of, well, it's not a very good trend line. Let me get a really good trend line, an actual straight one. I'm like the world's worst drawer. Okay, so here, so we kind of went through that, but it rejected off that trend line, and we have a green, all right, PTF. So more highs are coming, and what we're trying to do is time this thing. So is this a good time? Well, let's see. We got some fairly long wicks on these weekly charts, indicating the rejection off the trend line, so that's bullish. All right, let's open up this one. We had an order block down here, right here. Okay, support here. That held. Okay, notice how that held. But it was below the fib retracement, so that's kind of interesting. All right, so usually, you don't want to go, if this is one, well, that's, hold on a second. Let me redraw this thing, because this should be actually over here. Okay, so this is one, this is two, and we kind of hit that. And that's usually a no-no for Elliott wave count. Didn't close below it, but it did go below wave one. So that's usually a deal killer, meaning this is not wave four. Okay, not. So what could that be? Well, it could be a one instead of a three with a two here. So the result could be the same. I mean, a big move to the upside. All right, you got two green PTFs. You turned around in the order block. You have a green PTF, a little bit of red here, but I'm not so worried about that because you have bullish divergence building. So that's a good sign there. We're getting in near the bottom, so that's another benefit of taking the risk of not being too super perfect. I'm thinking, okay, little riskier than normal, but let's put this in here, FSLR as a buy for today with a stop right under here, okay? You do have some liquidity sitting there that if this is not a legit breakout, could go. So, you know, if you wanted to wait for this to take out this high here, that would be better. But as long as you have your stop, I put your stop under this liquidity a little bit, and that should be good too, because your risk to reward is still really good right now if this begins an uptrend. So I'll leave that up to you as to how you want it, but I will put that on the watch list, okay? Or not the watch list, the buy list here, simply because probabilities indicate more that it will go than it won't. All right, ASPI, not a lot of history here, okay? All right, so this will be the last one we do since we're running over a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at this. Green PTF is the only thing looking good here on the weekly, along with a big owl there. So we've had your three. Let's see about this in terms of, that's a pretty deep pullback there. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty big pullback. So maybe thinking maybe since this is fairly new, this is a 1, 2 and getting off. They had a channel here. It's breaking out of the channel. That's good. We have green here, green here. All right, so a couple of things here. We're breaking out of the channel somewhat. It did not break above here though. Now, usually when a stock does this, okay, we have to be very careful because this has just started bracketing over the last 20 price bars. So if it breaks out, we want to see some follow through before getting too excited, because 80% of the time, these things will stay in a channel until it finally is ready to break out. So what I would do, it looks like it's broken out of this. All right, so you have a reason to get in. If you want to wait for the breakout here and a little more follow through, you have that. You almost have a green here. You have a green here. So we're going higher, but only above here. So actually, let me just see one thing on the 60-minute chart. Yeah, that would take it above here. So I'm going to put this one down as a buy too. All right, I think you're getting in early. The target is way above here, okay, above the high of $9. So that's almost 100% return. So I think it's worth the risk. Put your stop at the very bottom in case things reverse, okay? All right, good job, everybody. And as Gene says, give us a like before you go. All right, so let me just go over the winners and the ones we have on hold today. So really quickly, okay? So we've got the ones to take today is RMD, all right? Silver, SLV, that's yours, Frank. FSLR, and ASPI. Let me just make sure I can read my own handwriting there. All right, so those are the good ones. Stuart, that was a good one for you, and RMD, that was a good one. All right, so the watch list, FIVN, all right, and XYL. All right, so listen, I want to thank everybody for coming today. We'll be back again next week. Have a great week. Happy New Year to everybody. And overall, you know, we found what, 1, 2, 3, 4 stock picks for today. So I don't think the market, even though I do think the market eventually will go into a bear market, I don't think we're quite there yet. All right, I think Bitcoin will make new highs. I think when Bitcoin and the market return to make new highs, then we got to be careful. All right, that may be a significant high at that time. So we'll take a look at things because we'll be here every week as well. So, all right, thanks for coming. Thanks for participating. I'll put it on. I'm going to put on the day trading time frames before we end, because at least they move and you don't get too bored watching that stuff. So we'll put those on and then we'll go ahead and close the room. All right, so thanks everybody. Have a good one.